Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about trade-offs and opportunity cost. So with trade-offs and opportunity cost, obviously we can't buy everything that we want. I could give you an unlimited amount of money, I could give you all the money in the world, but eventually you're gonna spend it or buy everything that you want. Even if you did buy everything that you wanted, eventually you're going to want something else. Okay, so when we shop and when we buy things, we often have these trade-offs and opportunity cost. A trade-off is simply accepting or choosing less of one thing to get more of something else. Okay, so if I give you $20 now, you can go down to Walmart and spend it, or you can wait till you have more money and buy something else that's more expensive, or buy more of something else. With opportunity cost, that's just whatever item that you gave up in order to buy something different. So, if you went back to school shopping and your parents gave you, $50 to buy some clothes. All right, well, you find this pair of jeans that you really like that's $50. Well, you can either have that one pair of jeans or you can buy 4 shirts. Now, if you choose the jeans, your opportunity cost was the 4 shirts. Because you bought those jeans, you could not afford to buy your shirts. Okay, so that opportunity cost is simply whatever it is that you gave up. So like in our little cartoon here, you've got the kid who is up late studying for a test, and he's very sleepy the next day. Well, his opportunity cost was that good night of sleep that he could have had. He chose to stay up late and study versus sleep. So he gave up the sleep in order to study. That makes the opportunity cost. So opportunity cost really isn't all that difficult or hard. It's just whatever it is you didn't buy, okay, or couldn't buy because you bought something else. So let's talk about specialization for a little bit. Specialization and trade are kind of more important on a kind of like a global scale. Okay, there's a lot of countries in the world that make products and trade with one another. However, do you think here in the U.S., do you think that we could make every single thing that we needed? Some of you are shaking your heads, no. Some yes. Okay, so a lot of you guys are saying no, we can't make everything that we need. Why? You don't think we have the materials or the resources to make everything that we need here? Okay, like what? Can you think of an example? Very good. Okay, so there's different natural resources that other countries have, that we don't. Okay, so because of that, we need to trade for those resources that we don't have. So that leads countries to specialize in what they produce. This is number 20, guys. All right, so when we talk about specialization and how countries will do this, what we mean is that they try to produce only a few things that they're really good at making. And then they trade some of that stuff for other things that they don't make. Okay, so for example, if we're looking at this table, the one here at the top in the green. So this is just a quick example of like the United States and Canada. So let's say obviously we need shirts and we need shoes. Well, if the United States used all their resources, let's just pretend that they can make 100 shirts and 75 pairs of shoes. If Canada used up all of their resources, they could make 80 shirts and 100 pairs of shoes. All right, and that gives us our total down here at the bottom. Well, if the United States decides to use all their resources and make only shirts, they're not going to worry about shoes at all. They can maybe make 200 shirts. If Canada does the same, uses all of their resources to make only shoes, they can make 200 pairs. Okay, so if you look at the totals at the bottom, Okay, what happens if both countries decide to use all their resources for one thing? How are these numbers different than these numbers down here? They're higher, right? So with specialization, they're able to make more. Well, because the U.S. now has 200 shirts but no shoes, what do they need to do with Canada? Yeah, they trade. Okay, 100 shirts for 100 shoes. Well, they now each have 100 of each, right? Well, is that more than what they had trying to do everything on their own? Of course. So what you guys didn't see, we just paused the video here and we did it together in class. So we had 3 students come up to the board and have them draw pizzas. So their pizza crust had to be 8 inches wide. It had to have 5 pepperonis on it that were an inch wide and 5 peppers on it that were an inch wide. So our first time through the trial, all 3 students drew the whole pizza themselves. They put all the toppings on it and everything. First time they went through and drew everything, we were able to draw 10 total pizzas between the 3 of them. After that, we went through and each student only drew one part of the pizza. So one student drew the crust, one student drew pepperonis, and one student drew the peppers. And that's all they did. They did as many as they could in a minute. Well, after they specialized and only did one part of the drawing, we were able to make more pizzas total versus everyone making one on their own. So if you want to try it yourself, just time yourself for a minute, see how many you can draw real quick, only doing one thing, and then do a minute doing the individual toppings. You should be able to draw more just specializing in doing one topping versus trying to make the whole pizza. So this takes us to number 16 on your study guide. It's not numbered up here on the PowerPoint, but it is number 16. So once each country decides to specialize in a few goods, they then have to trade for the things that they didn't make. And in order for trade to be successful, both sides need to feel like they're getting the better deal. Odds are you're not going to trade with somebody if you feel like they got more out of it than you did. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't trade your shoes for a pencil. Now you might trade, a pack of wooden pencils for a single mechanical pencil. That's more of a fair trade. Okay, and you said you would never do that? I bet there's some people who would. Might not work for you, but other people might. So yeah, so let's put it this way, okay, let's say there's 10 pencils in a pack, okay, which one do you think is going to be able or last longer, your 10 wooden pencils or the mechanical pencil? The 10 wooden pencils, right? But the mechanical pencil, okay, it's a little more sturdy, you don't have to worry about sharpening it, but it's going to run out of lead before those 10 pencils do. So some people would rather have the benefit of not having to sharpen the pencil. Other people would rather have the pack of pencils because it's going to last longer. All right, so when we talk about trading then between countries, that leads us into imports and exports. Imports are simply goods that are brought into a country. Exports are things that are traded out of your country. It is exiting your country.